maybe when every day is kind of the same, that's when we feel like no one is watching, like no one cares. Perhaps loneliness isn't so much about being alone as it is a lack of novelty, kind of. Maybe the secret to overcoming loneliness in midlife is to break out of your daily patterns. I came over 5,000 miles, or nearly 9,000 kilometres, to northeast China in the middle of winter, away from all my friends. Did come with my wife and kids, but here I am going for a walk by myself after a snowstorm, all alone by the waterfront. And yet, somehow, it feels less lonely than my life in Australia. Why is that? Why is it that we can be alone but not feel lonely, and then sometimes we can be surrounded and we feel completely alone? We feel incredibly lonely. I think what this proves is that loneliness has less to do with your situation and maybe more to do with what you're paying attention to, with your own focus. I love traveling to places that aren't touristy at all. I'm here by the waterfront in Dalian, the northeast part of China. It's quite beautiful after the snow. You can see all the way out there, there's islands in the distance. We're at the tip of a long peninsula, and out to sea there is North Korea, not that far away, only 200 or 300 kilometers away. I love coming to places like this, where there's no tourists and not much touristy things to do, because you get to see the ordinary lives that people live and reflect upon your own in a way that, gives you some interesting perspective on your own daily routine, your habits that have gone unchecked. I think that if you went to Disneyland or went to sit by a beach in your own country, you wouldn't get the same benefit. On the topic of midlife loneliness, I think when you're stuck in your routine every day, doing the same daily grind, going to work, commuting, like long commutes, and often not seeing your friends, your best friends, for long periods, even though you might not live very far away. I think that can feel more lonely than, going somewhere completely different and walking by yourself. I think it's difficult to have these novel experiences all the time. We depend on our daily routines just to function in life, so it's unrealistic for me to feel this kind of refreshing sense that we have when we travel to unusual places. So it's inevitable when I go back home in a few days that I'll settle back into my daily routine and feel all the stresses and isolation. Isn't that funny? Like going back to my home, surrounded by my familiar people, familiar colleagues, familiar friends. I'm anticipating to feel isolated. Incredible, but I imagine if I was to spend, all of my time doing this maybe I would start to feel lonely. So perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps loneliness isn't so much about being alone as it is a lack of novelty, kind of. Maybe the secret to overcoming loneliness in midlife is to break out of your daily patterns. Maybe when every day is kind of the same, that's when we feel like no one is watching, like no one cares. Whereas when I walk around this city, I just stopped recording a minute ago because a guy was out here taking pictures, and he's visiting from another part of China, and he started talking to me in a mixture of Chinese and English. I speak a little bit of Mandarin, although his English was better than my Mandarin. Stuff like that, I guess, wouldn't happen in your daily life so much. Maybe it can, and part of that's the fact that there are so few Western tourists here that I kind of stand out. A random white guy walking in the snow when it's like -4. So we exchanged WeChat IDs, and I might keep in touch with him. That's pretty cool. So maybe the secret to overcoming loneliness is to not so much surround yourself with people, although that could be good too, but to break out of your daily patterns, the things that keep you stuck. Do something that you're a little bit afraid of. I was kind of afraid of coming here. You're almost addicted to your routine, and it feels like it invokes a sense of fear to escape from that, to do something new. But I reckon I'm onto something here. Why don't you tell me if you agree in the comment section? And I look forward to making more videos. This is so beautiful. Such a novelty for me as an Australian to have all this snow at sea level. Take care and have a wonderful day wherever you are.